Now, I've gotten educated in stimulus over the last 3 or 4 months. You know, in the past, the congressmen and senators would put in a bridge or a building or a project, and you all knew where it was going. Now, this was really deceptive. This new stimulus bill sends all the money to the governors and their bureaucrats, and the bureaucrats and the agencies in Washington, D.C. So it's pork with another name. It's hidden, of course. And they bypassed the elected legislatures around the country. Just the bureaucrats are distributing this money. I get a lot of calls to ask for that. Let me tell you how that works right here. I've been on the Board of Supervisors for 8 or 10 years, and we've tried to get the Clements Mill Bridge in Franklin County replaced for about 8 years. We've tried to get the one over the Longview Turnpike between Glade Hill and Mitchell Store replaced. It's a near life expectancy. Been working with VDOT, boards of supervisors, local government, but now we've got stimulus money. It's going to build another bridge somewhere else in the county. The bridge does need rebuilding, but it'll probably last another 10 or 20 years. And that bridge is going to be built with a contract out of Richmond, Virginia. It's not going to be built locally by VDOT Salem or VDOT Franklin County. It's going to be built outside. And that bridge is going to cost about twice as much as what that bridge would cost if we did it through the regular system, because the Bacon-Davis requirements of the federal legislation under the stimulus bill will require unionized labor, and that will come from outside of here, and we won't get a dime out of it, for very little if we get any. So that's the update on stimulus. And how about our food supply? Here's one I ran across not long ago. Seems like everyone in Washington is concerned about our food supply. Maybe there's a problem from here and there, but we have the safest food supply in the world. We have the good federal agencies that look at it. We have an outstanding agriculture department in Virginia that looks at it. Sure, there's an occasional problem. Probably always will be. Nothing's ever perfect. And we're going to replace all that with a new federal agency. Hundreds and thousands of new workers, and we're going to have federal inspectors everywhere the food is processed, prepared, including foreign plants. The United States is going to send inspectors overseas. I wonder what Castro is going to say about that, or China or somebody. But that's the game plan. We won't have any more church dinners. Everything's going to have a federal inspector. And guess who's going to pay for it? My friends, we are going to pay for it. Now the latest on college loans. Many of us have struggled to send children to college. And I wondered what was going on 3 or 4 months ago when I saw the federal government was going to take loans away from Thank you, I'm too loud. Sorry about that. I'll try to correct that. Thank you. College loans. Today we have a very active program with banks, credit unions, lending institutions, whomever that do a lot of college loans. Well, now the federal government's going to do it. That means it's going to be your money instead of investors' money that's going into these college loans. And this week I learned out really what was coming down. You see, if you get a college loan from the federal government and you become a community organizer, it's forgiven. In 10 years, you work a little bit as a community organizer somewhere in your community, and your loan is forgiven. And then if you don't pay it back, after 25 years, it's only just forget about it. That's our money, my friends. That's our money. Oh, the old tobacco bill, which affected this area. It seems like tobacco sales are down with that big tax on it. The revenue's down. I wonder how we're going to play for all those insurance policies. Guess what? We've got another tax cut coming. I know the mortgages that cause a lot of the financial problems that are going on right now. I've read estimates of about $30 billion abused by executives. That's obscene. We all think that should be fixed. But when you look at the trillions of dollars of mortgages that were given that should not have been given, without credit, overvalued, and under the table, and Chris Dodd and Barney Frank are still up there doing the same thing, and they're not fixing that problem. And until we fix that problem, we're going to be in trouble. And health care, now they want to take over our health care. I've been to Europe, I've been to Canada, I had friends there, they pay a 40 to 60% tax rate. 40 to 60% tax rate. We have the best health care in the world. Sure, we've got issues and we need to make some fixes to it, but we don't need the federal government in it. There's something called the 10th Amendment. And then there's the recent price increase in gasoline. Class warfare. Some people claiming, oh, the oil companies are doing it to us again. I've done my research on that, and I don't think that's exactly true this time. You see, there's a lot of money in this country that needs to be invested. Money in retirement funds, like Virginia retirement system. All your foundations, your college retirement, and so forth. Your regular investment banks and insurance companies. And guess what they're doing? They're buying up all futures. Why? All this federal spending is going to break the bank in Washington, D.C. and cause massive inflation, so the investors are investing in all futures so that their value of their dollar will be maintained as a result of this huge spending spree comes to roost in the United States. My friends, I've tried to cover some of the issues that I've run across in the last month or two. A few things I think we need to do. We've got to stand up for the 10th Amendment. They're doing things they have no right to do. You know what that amendment says. We need to look at a tax system that perhaps is a great deal different than what we have now. We need to take a look at the fair tax. I want some of these congressmen and senators to put it on the table and tell me why it won't work. If it needs changing, yeah, we'll change it. Or the flat tax, whatever. We need to change that system. We've got to do that. So in closing, let me say this to you. How can you make a difference? Get active. This is one way. Talk to your friends. Write letters to the editor. Weigh in with your congressmen and your senators and your delegates on the state and federal level. Get active and participate. That's the key to it. I appreciate the opportunity to make these remarks. This gentleman is bound to ask me a question, and I won't answer.
You and Georgia are great representatives. I wish we had a whole conference now full of people like you guys. There's an issue up there, and it has to do with the president that won't present his birth certificate, his college record, or his medical record. We don't even know that this guy's eligible to be the president of the United States. He's not a national citizen.
The comment in question is the allegation that the current President of the United States does not have a proper birth certificate and education documentation and so forth. My understanding is that that has actually been filed in federal court all the way to the United States Supreme Court. I mean, I guess I feel the way you do, but I still believe in the law, and the Supreme Court of the United States has ruled that that's not an issue due to his qualification in Chicago and in colleges and previous that information. Okay, thank you so much. Good to be with you today.